Yeah. So taking that into consideration, you for, that is what you have to basically follow these two rules. One is golden rule, the other one is four-way test rule, to have a ethical behavior in front of your followers. In golden rule, you should respect the other person in the same way as you expect them to behave for with respect to you. Okay, so it is like a give and take in the similar fashion. Next is the four test way is, you have, before actually responding or behaving on your followers, you have to check for these four questions. If all the four has an yes answer, then you can go ahead and actually act accordingly. They are: is it truth, is it fair enough to be concerned, will it build a goodwill and better friendship, if I basically answer it in an known facts, yes or no, or is it going to spoil my relation with them. If it is going to spoil the relation, then better to be quiet than answering it in an at that situation. Okay, then will it beneficial to all the concerned. You should basically look it from the team perspective and look that will it break the heart for others, or will it create a groupism among your followers. If that is the case, then you have to basically reorganize the things and then answer it in a better way, or look for a better situation to answer that one. Okay, that is the way you have to follow to be an ethical behavior in front of your followers. Okay, these are the four questions. Basically, if the answer is yes, it will be an ethical behavior, as per the literature says so. Okay, so now going back uh, to the how actually ethical leader will be like. Okay, for to be a ethical leader, the primary thing one should have is courage. Okay, along with the courage, you have to focus on what it is called as focus on higher purpose. Don't focus on the lower objectives. You, if when you are ethically correct, you should always have a bigger goal, bigger objective to accomplish. Then from that perspective, if you basically what it is called as convince your followers to why basically that specific action is required at that time, then uh, the what it is called as the way you are going to be a ethical leader will be exhibited during that situation. Next is draw strength from others. Okay, basically don't always what it is called as say that do what I say. Okay, you should always take the your followers into consideration, ask them the questions, whosoever are in sync with your thought. You should basically draw the strength for others, taking the followers answer into consideration. Let us basically do these things in this situation, or answering in that situation. Basically, it is not only you ethically correct, the others also want to be ethically correct. So basically take the others considerations, or drag the courage from others. Next, take risk without a failure of fear. See, being on the right place and basically moving towards an objective is a very tough task. So sometimes it might be an costly affair to be on the right side. Okay, by being on the negative side, probably the accomplishment will be very easy. Okay, so for that purpose, you to be a truthful and correct, no, you should basically take certain risk, and you should not be always thinking about success and failure. If I say like this, will it be success, failure or success, it comes on its own way after the consolidated efforts. So you should not fear about being failure. You should be always concentrating on being correct and being ethical. Okay, use your frustration and anger for good, not for the bad things. If someone has failed to do something, you basically encourage him to redo it, instead of shouting at him and wasting your energy. Instead, you basically put your energy on doing the things, how better, how to improve ourselves. Okay, doing the good things. Okay, can we do better than this from the present situation? If you put on that, say, basically you will be ethical leader. So being ethical is a very important thing in the present situation. In this 2021, in the COVID situation, ethical leaders are valued too much. Organization is always looking for ethical leader in the year 2021. The HR concept which is of more important during the COVID season is a ethical leader, or ethical characteristic of a employee or a what it is called as leader as such. Those who are ethically on a writer position, the organization is hiring them very much during this COVID situation. Okay. Now coming to the what it is called as how personality profile of effective leaders. This we have seen. See, this personality profile is associated with the achievement motivation theory. Okay, when you say achievement motivation theory, this what actually is the motivation process that we have studied in the earlier classes. Okay, motivation is always associated with the unsatisfied needs a person possesses. Okay, to satisfy those unsatisfied needs, any person will try to basically when that unsatisfied needs are not fulfilled, no, a person gets into tension. Say suppose in your class 4 of them are studying together. Okay, what happens is everybody wants to be first to the class or everybody wants to score well. Okay, probably let us say that this is a tension for you guys, so you try to work very hard and try to observe the concepts very well. Okay, this process is there, no, that will lead to the tension because this is not satisfied yet, this is unsatisfied need, and basically that will lead to the tension, and this tension what comes into you will drive you. Okay, psychologically or physiologically it will drives you towards the certain behaviors or action which would lead to the which would basically ask you to hunt for the better behavior or better actions that needs to be taken to basically fulfill that unsatisfied needs due to the tension which is going in your mind. So you will do certain good things like you will get up early in the morning, start studying, and then basically looking you will reproduce that, practice that one. All these are good practices. Okay, ethically if you want to basically do this, okay, you have to prepare well and then reproduce it. Okay, if it is on the part of the unethical procedure, you will prepare cheats and basically try to copy in the class instead of basically ethically following the situation of preparing for the examination. When you search for this behavior, this consolidated behavior or the effort that you have put, it might lead to the satisfaction of the need, that is you will get a better marks. Yes or no? If you get a better marks, that will basically reduce your tension. Okay, and then since you have done this and reduced your tension on the appropriate exams also, when you basically come across such situation and get into tension, you again do the repeated action for it. Say suppose if you don't get a what it is called as better result, that means your efforts what you have done last time falls short to fulfill your needs. So next time when the similar situation comes, you will again get into tension, again you will try to derive certain behaviors from others, try to do it better. This time basically you will change something appropriately accordingly to see that what might have gone wrong in the earlier situation. Okay, and then this changed behavior, a polished behavior which will lead you to the success, it is just an assumption for yourself which you will be following needs, that might basically lead to the satisfied needs. Even if that also does not feel, basically this cycle of basically fulfilling the unsatisfied needs and trying to derive out of it, no, that is where the motivation comes. Okay, if someone says, no, if you if this unsatisfied needs, if you get satisfied, you will be rewarded appropriately. If it is means that reward acts as a motivation for you. This is how basically this motivation theory gets worked. Okay, so now when we are studying this personality trait associated with leadership, and we are linking that one to this what it is called achievement theory. Okay, see, achievement, everybody wants to achieve in life. Is there anyone who doesn't want to achieve? He just want to die as he has born? No, this achievement is an personal characteristics which everybody would like to accomplish. Say this achievement theory basically is given by McClellan, which is associated with the motives. The motives here is achievement. Okay, so we have seen the various theories that we have studied on the organizational behavior. With regards to drives, it was Hull's. With regards to needs, it is a hierarchy, Maslow's theory, two factors theory, and then ERG needs, Alderfer theory. Okay, these were the things which we have studied earlier. Among these, for the one with regards to leadership, we are interested in that motives theory, okay, which we will be seeing. What does this motives theory comes when we basically consolidated with others? Okay, McGlade's basically distinguished these all needs theory. No, it with regards to Maslow, Herzberg, and Alderfer's ERG needs. No, everybody basically reclassified them. Okay, what is this ERG theory? It says that the basic needs, the needs theory of Maslow's, can be subdivided into three ways. That is, some people who have got a growth oriented mentality, they will be basically at the higher level, and basically those who want to just get related to that kind of profession or that affiliation kind of requirement, those who want to be, they will be like, they will be having a relatedness behavior. Next is they just want to be like that, okay, existence behavior. Okay, similarly Hasberg's two factor theory, he himself has said that I have divided this Maslow's theory into two types. In the work environment there can be two types way you can basically on various situation you can basically distinguish each and every factors as motivators or maintenance factor. If you are basically from the point of maintenance factor, then you are in the low level needs of Maslow's theory. If you are into motivators kind of environment is existing there, means then basically it pushes the employees to behave better and tries to get into the higher needs of the Maslow's theory. Similarly, in the McLeod's classification, he classified it into three types. That is, one is the any employee in the organization can have a desire or the motive. It is motive oriented theory. That is, he can have an achievement oriented mentality, or he can have an power oriented mentality, or he can have an affiliation oriented mentality, or he can just be an normal existence guy. Okay, this achievement oriented mentality, a person who has no, generally he will be having a higher desire needs. Okay, if you look into a person who is having very high achievement motive, this one motive requirement, no, generally they falls into a derailment of their leadership, which has been observed here. So according to this theory, if you look into this, no, say, as I said here, this is the conceptualized generalized different theories which I have shown you. How this applies for the what it is called as leadership context, that I will be explaining now. See, McLeod's motivation theory, when you say it is achievement, no, what is this achievement? It is a need to accomplish and demonstrate own competence. Okay, you have to basically be competent enough to do it better than others. Okay, it's your personal skills are at exhibition, wherein you have to do it in a better way. People with high needs for achievement prefer tasks that provide for personal responsibility and result based on their own efforts. That means they are just not the observers, they just won't motivate the people. Okay, they actually get personally involved into it. They will basically add their personal skills for the accomplishment of the task in a better way. Okay, they want the quick acknowledgement of the tasks to be accomplished. Okay, so when a person is of that nature, when the employees are of that nature, they are being referred to as an higher need based employees. Okay, how will they do? They basically see in their workplace, they seek challenge, they always take every task which someone says this work cannot be completed within 2 days, they will take it as a challenge and try to do it and accomplish it. If you are having that kind of mentality, then you are basically called as achievement oriented employee. And basically they like excellence. Excellence is, say, suppose as I said, four of you are working together, okay, one of the guy, no, she want to be first, okay. So what she happens is, she when everybody basically closes the books and goes for the sleep, no, after 1 hour she again gets up, again she does the everything as a revision, and then she reads it and then sleeps, whereas the other people will not be knowing about it. Means she is basically putting some extra effort for it to achieve the excellence. If a person, if an employee is of this nature, it is called as he is individually interested in to be an excellent among others, okay. They take calculated and moderate kind of risk. I don't say, as I said, she is basically hiding this element of overdoing the work from other guys. It is a moderate risk, basically she might get a wrong reputation. So this achievement is there, no, sometimes it hinders to the leadership quality, okay. How it is going to achieve, how it is going to happen? If you look into this, as I have said here, uh, a strong dominant need for achievement is there, no, is basically what it is called as the core, the what I want to say is the correlation between high achievement need and high performance in the general population are correlated too much. But people with high achievement tend to enjoy entrepreneurial type of positions, okay. They are very much high risk takers, okay. They are good in enterprising the things rather than being a leaders. If they get into leadership, no, they are going to risk the people who are their followers, okay. This we will see in the motive theory, okay. Yeah, LMP is there, no, there we will see how actually this personal achievement, and basically this achievement is associated with the need of the power. Yes or no? What is power? Power is basically you want to make your followers to be dependent on you. Power is achieved by making others to be dependent on you. Need for power is the unconscious concern for influencing others. If you have power, then only basically you can influence others. If you don't have power, generally it will be very difficult to influence others, okay. Having a power, associating to keep the power with yourself, is a positive correlation with the need of the leadership. Or else high power generally is categorized as a dimension of surgency, okay. People with high need for power tend to be characterized as wanting to control the situation, want influence and or control over others, enjoying the competition, okay. This is how a person who want this power with him, no, he will be basically what it is called as wanting to control the situation, keep the things happen, go as it is. They don't like to lose, they always want to win, when basically those who are running for the sake of power. Being, what happens is people with high power tend to be ambitious and have lower need for affiliation. When you want power, no, generally what happens is you don't care for others, your sensitivity becomes low, yes or no. Since you have power, you feel that others are there for me to do the work, I am not there for them to do the work. If you have this kind of this power related people under this what it is called as need based theories, no, it will basically tend that they are attenuated to power and politics as an essential successful leadership, okay. When you have a power, you try to do the politics, okay. You try to favor certain people or disfavor the and people consider that as an what it is called as need. As a leader, I am supposed to do that, okay. That is what it is called as according to the Maclean's theory, this power does mean, okay. Next is affiliation. affiliation is very much needed for a leadership, because if you want to be affiliated, or if you want to be correlated with the group, if you want to be part of the group, excel in the group, then basically what it means you have to maintain a better relationships. Okay, affiliation is associated with the relationship, that is concerning or developing, maintaining and restoring close relationship with your fellow workers, that is associated with the affiliation. Okay, this affiliation is very much necessary, and it is positively correlated with the agreeableness, okay, of the big five dimensions. Okay, people with high affiliation power, no, generally they are like others, they enjoy a lot of social activities, okay, and seeking to belong and join groups and organization. They don't like to be isolated, they don't feel like a geeks among themselves, they are like civil loving person, okay, like he is, they are very much a group oriented people. People with high affiliation are more concerned about what others think of them than than about getting their own way or influencing their own way. They are very much surrender to the followers feelings and consideration. Okay, so what happens is, if a person is having high affiliation, tend to have a low power. See, these two are very much correlated. Those who are having, those who want to be highly affiliated to their followers, no, they tend to have a low power orientation. Those who want to have the high power orientation, no, they are likely to have a less affiliation. So this you have to basically look into the needs. Okay, basically those who are in this kind of behavior, no, they are good at basically HR jobs, they are good at teachers jobs. Okay, these are this kind of people who are basically associated with it. As we have seen, according to the Mackland's achievement motivation theory, there can be three kind of behaviors: achievement, high level needs; affiliation, mid level needs; power, power, mid level needs; affiliation, lower level needs. Okay, so people with affiliation are less need of power, people want of power are less need of affiliation. These are mutually exclusive to each other. Okay, this is how Mackland's theory suggests you. If you go to the, there is one more, leader motive profile theory. Okay, this motive profile is useful because it can explain a predict behavior and performance of the leadership of what you are doing. So from that perspective, leader motive profile theory attempts to explain, predict leadership success based on person's needs for achievement, power and affiliation. So from that prospect, when you look into this one, no, what it is called as leader motive profile includes a high need for power, which is socialized. Okay, when you say power, they need a socialized power. Okay, they don't need a, here again when you are speaking of a power, you should basically look into the what kind of power. One is socialized power, other is personalized power. When a leader looks for personalized power, he is derailing his leadership quality. Well, basically if he is looking for a socialized power, he is basically enhancing his leadership quality. Okay, that you have to keep in mind. Then greater than need for affiliation with a moderate need for achievement. Achievement, see, even achievement with high achievement people are there, no, they cannot be leaders also, because if you are concentrating too much on leaders, means lot of things gets derailed from your followers, because all will not be highly achievement motivated. But you have to carry the entire team as a leader with you. So in that case what happens is, you are likely to for a perfect leader, the moderate, what it is called as achievement, and he should have a moderate need for power, higher need for affiliation. Then basically that kind of leaders are basically associated with the kind of success. Okay, basically socialized power is associated with the adjustment dimension. Next, coming, If you look into these things, no, what actually according to this leader motive theory, profile theory, what does this power means? It means to be successful leaders need to be a charge and enjoy the leadership role. Okay, if you don't enjoy the leadership role, then if you are not enjoying that leading others, no, then you will not be liking the power. Okay, without power there is no leadership. Leadership should have some amount of power, then only people will be putting some extra time to it to enjoy that power. Okay, how to gain power and be successful in organizational politics is a different thing. That is a different organizational behavior which you will be seeing later. And as I said, socialized power. Okay, the leader should concentrate for socialized power. What do you mean by socialized power? It can be used to help oneself and others. Okay, if it is not used to helping purpose, no, then basically the power that can be used for personal gain at the expense of the others, that is called as personal power. If a person, if a person is after this personal power, no, then he is derailing his leadership, leadership trait. If he wants to be leads one, he should basically concentrate on the socialized power, that is a power that helps oneself and others. Okay, it should be an helping position. That kind of power he has to be. Okay, a person with a low need for affiliation can have a high sensitivity to others. That's what as I said earlier, this is also very much necessary. Affiliation should be low. If you are too much getting affiliated, no, then basically what happens is you become one among them. Okay, you will be derailed from the leadership if affiliation is high. Okay, similarly with respect to achievement. Okay, as I said earlier, what happens with regards to achievement? In achievement, leaders generally need to have a moderate need for achievement. If they are into high need for achievement, no, then which would include lower need for power, is a danger for personalized power or socialized power. Then basically he derails the his leadership quality. Here, moderate need for achievement is an what it is called as this. Why that achievement is required? Because he has to function along with his followers. It is not his personal test wherein he can be very much high achievement oriented. Okay, that's why we can see why Steve Jobs basically used to fail at the work environment is because of his high achievement oriented behavior. Next is affiliation. Affiliation, I have said, this is how this leadership motive profile theory works. Okay, when you look into this leadership motive theory profile related leadership definition, no, it says that definition of leadership includes influencing and leaders followers power, and getting along with the people is the social power. It also includes organizational objectives which achievers set and accomplish well. It is only related to the organizational objectives. From that prospect, the achievement should be okay, and a change which the achievers are open to. Okay, this the leadership with regards to the organizational change, it comes under unit 5 that we will be seeing from the syllabus perspective. So I hope you might have understood this, what it is called as how this leader motive theory is associated with the achievement motivation theory, how much heavy much achievement desired people will derail their leadership prospectus. Okay, this is how basically he is correlating with respect to those theories which is part of your syllabus. So just I have tried to explain here. I hope you have understood. Any doubts? See, here we have an what it is called as summarized chart. What and all we have learned? That is, we have learned big 5 model of personality, how the personality gets because here we are studying leadership trait with respect to personality. How, what are all the antecedents of the personality, and this is associated with the how the effective leaders should have, how they are, all these 5 models are associated to the effective leaders which element they should be at the higher level, which element should be at the lower layer. And at last we have correlated the motivation theory, that is achievement motivation theory, from the McClelland's theory perspective of the motive related theory, that one with respect to the leadership. Okay. And in that, what and all is required for a person to practice his leadership on day to day basis. Okay. This is how this actually works. Okay. I hope you have understood. Any problem? Kaveri? Understood? Okay. I want you to answer here. Just 1 minute. Everybody left so early. Huh? Nobody wants to answer. Okay. It's okay. If you are done, it's okay. Who are all there still now? Rupa, Kaveri, Dipti, answer no? Answer to the text message that I have put. Are you there or have you left? If you are left, it's okay. So, this completes this unit from the perspective of the syllabus, whatever is there in it. Okay. The next syllabus we will start after the internals. I hope we do not have class till the internal. The internal starts from, I think, on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days internals are there, I suppose, 27, 28, 29. I hope for you the best of luck for this. For the internals, probably, okay, I can't basically explain it 100, I can't basically tell it with surety. I will make a notes for the first chapter also and post it. Whereas as far as the second chapter notes are there, most of them are generally, I have what it is called, put up by the that document that I have shared, that is what is the your second chapter exactly. Okay. It is exactly with that. Basically, I am not getting that book. If I go, if I could get that book, it actually synchronizes with the syllabus itself entirely, I suppose. Okay. Since we don't have, it's okay. We will basically look into how to basically correlate with regards to syllabus from different books, whatever we have. Okay. Thank you for attending. Okay. Thank you.